I can't tell if I really like this anime or if I just think it's okay. Don't get me wrong, there's so much to love here. The animation, the character designs, the music, the fight scenes, there's so much sauce here. But I'm a little worried that that's all this anime has to offer right now. It has a really good start with possibly one of the greatest hooks I've seen in a long time. Why did one of the most popular heroes die, and was there a reason? Did he just want it all to end? Was there a bigger conspiracy? And how long till people start to realize that this hero, Nice, is actually just a normal dude trying his best to live up to the mantle? It's funny because this entire show feels very fabricated, and that's on purpose. To be a hero in this world means to be believed in, to be popular, and to have the support of everyone in the world. The way these heroes are born is through the public cheering you on and believing in you, meaning live streams, talk shows, performances, ads, and TV shows is all necessary to make you more popular and more powerful and rise to the top. And without it, you don't really have anything. It's so interesting to have your power based on how the public perceives you and their trust in you. And there's so much potential with that power system. So many stories that could be explored that honestly, this show is doing extremely well so far. But the one thing holding me back from really liking this is the pacing. At some moments, it loves to let us sit there with these characters, and in others, it rushes in so we can get to the glorious fight scenes. And sure, not every show needs super deep character moments and writing, but when you give me scenes like in episode 2, where Nice's love interest Moon feels so trapped because not only does corporate want her to marry Nice, but the public wants them to be together so bad that Moon's power doesn't even work anymore. Moon's ability is her being able to create portals and she can jump through them anywhere. But the moment her fling started with Nice, her power can only transport her to Nice's location. And that sucks so much. She wants her own life, but the public just wants her to be Nice's love interest and nothing more. It doesn't help that the company forces her to go on these talk shows and do these scenes with him. I love this so much, and the entire time I was watching episode 2, I just wanted more. We spend so little on Moon's character, and the rest of the episodes just spent fighting. We get 8.5 minutes of spending time with Moon and getting to know her, and then the rest is dedicated to fighting. Don't get me wrong, the fighting's cool, but I just want a little more, you know? Thankfully, there is a reason for the fight scene, and this villain actually has his own story, which I like, but I still wanted more of a focus on Moon and more of this world and how it just treats these heroes, you know? It's like that all the way from the beginning. Our main character just so happens to be at the right place at the wrong time, and he ends up taking the mantle of Nice. But the thing is, we skip so much of the main guy getting training and learning how to be nice, and just like in episode 2, by the 8-minute mark, he's already pretty much perfected everything, and we just get a glorious fight at the end. We don't really get to see him learn, we don't get to see him start to see the red flags of working with this industry. No, we just cut most of that out, which sort of makes later moments in these episodes a bit hollow, because I feel like these scenes could have had way more weight to them if we simply spent more time for our main character. Which, by the way, he's sort of a blank slate sometimes, I guess. I actually really like him, he's fine for the most part. It's just more of, gosh, I wish we had more of like what he's like and who he is. Thankfully, the more these episodes go on, the more we see from him, and that's very nice, but so far we haven't really had too much in terms of character development. I will say, even though I don't like the pacing sometimes, it still does these episodes extremely well. I only really complain because this is so close to being a 10 out of 10, and there's more possibilities that we can explore. There's only 3 episodes out at the moment of me recording this, and honestly, it's only getting better from here, and I really hope it continues to get better, because this show is awesome so far, but, and this is a major but, the whole pretending to be nice secret, it's just so fucking awful, because everyone figures it out. Every episode, someone is able to figure it out. Heck, multiple people sometimes in an episode, and I just can't help but just, I don't know. It's completely understandable that there would be doubts. This guy just so happens to look like him, and acting like him is a completely different task. But it's actually made very simple because we later learn that since everyone believes he's nice, he is slowly starting to act like him and even adopt some of his habits and tendencies. This trust belief system works so well that his eye color completely changes, he gains Nice's powers, his body starts changing, and he becomes more of a neat freak because, well, Nice is perfect and that's his whole character. Even down to his voice, the old him is nowhere to be seen anymore. And as far as we know, this might be the first time something like this has happened, where someone used the belief and trust power system to completely take the role of someone else. So I really want to ask, if this person sounds exactly like him and looks exactly like him and has the same powers and even has the same little quirks, can you really tell a difference? Yeah, maybe those close to him should be able to figure out that he isn't nice, cause, well, they were close to him. But from what we've seen from this anime so far, Nice didn't really have any real connections. His girlfriend slash love interest wants nothing to do with him and is only really there because she has to be. And his rival slash main nemesis is actually just fabricated and just somebody the company made up. Other than that, nobody really knew Nice, so technically this secret should be safe for a long time. Unless of course Nice happens to slip up or admit that he isn't nice. Why are you doing that?
Furman, I'm not nice.
Whoever you are, just be yourself.
There's way more that I want to talk about with the identity thing, but first let's dive into the first episode so we can further establish everything and I can make my points later on, you know? So episode 1, we have Lin Ling, who currently works for one of the major corporations who manages media involving heroes. He writes articles, writes lines, and makes promo videos and pitches ideas to clients and stuff. And currently he's showing off his latest project, To Be Hero X. That's the name of the movie! It's a promotional video that shows off Nice for the upcoming competition for the next #1 hero thing. But his idea isn't really liked by the corporation, and honestly, I kind of agree with what the business guy is saying. Their client is Nice, so this video should showcase him, but at the end, Lin Ling decides to say that yes, even you could become a hero. Even you could be just like Nice and win the competition. And that's cool and all, it speaks out to everyone who's going to watch and maybe even have some extra seats for the events, but that's not what the video is about. Maybe the idea was more like you can be a hero by supporting Nice and helping him take down evil or something, cause yeah, that totally makes sense. You need to appeal to the audience as much as possible so they can support you. After all, their support is how the heroes get super in the first place. But yeah, anyways, everyone hated this idea and he gets fired. But then all of a sudden, Nice floats down and walks towards the edge of the roof, strikes a pose, and then just falls to his death. These people who were running after Nice sees him just lying there helpless and takes Lin Ling in because he's seen too much. This woman then gets a call, and apparently Nice has been doing poorly ever since the incident, and it might just be best to let him rest for a while. We never learn what this incident is, but I'm sure we'll figure it out in later episodes. It's at this point that they throw white paint on Lin Ling, and we realize that, hey, don't he kind of look like that one guy? You know, the one guy whose brain matter's all over the sidewalk? We then cut to 1 week later, and Lin Ling has already assimilated into the role of being a hero. When asked if there was any information on why Nice jumped, Miss J, that's the woman by the way, lays down the cover story as the person who jumped was actually Lin Ling himself, and that's all there is to it. We move on and we finally see Moon, and she's asked by the audience if she was able to visit Nice while he was away, but she admits that she hasn't seen him in a long while. At first glance, there's nothing suspicious here, and he's a clear copy. And what's interesting here is, whoa, could this be foreshadowing? The way that she looks shocked. Moon not only hesitates at his gesture, but also looks to the side and ponders something. I'm not sure if she knew right off the bat that this isn't Nice, but it's clear that this didn't feel right to her. Or if we want to go deeper, this might just be a sign for what happens in episode 2, how she isn't happy playing pretend and being forced to be his girlfriend all the time. So they go into the lovers question game show thing, and this guy is obsessed with wanting to expose Nice, and I'm surprised that they just let this slide, because clearly this guy should not be here and should not be asking these kind of questions, and yet security never shows up. Also, this is live streamed and they never cut the footage for some reason. Anyways, there's a machine that can tell if Nice is lying, and thankfully the first question is really easy for Lin Ling. Because he had to make all these commercials and promo videos, he actually knows a lot about Moon. And I'm gonna mention it here because it's very important later in episode 2. When Lin Ling was pitching a commercial to the higher ups, he actually made a point of wanting to show off Moon's independence and confidence. Now, this is through a new mature outfit that he suggested, but I love how this shows off his character and shows that he saw her for more than just Nice's girlfriend, and that's really cool. That perfectly goes into what happens in the next episode. The next question this guy asks is actually a very easy one. Is their relationship real? And is Moon actually his girlfriend? And he's actually pretty smart about this. He first answers no, then goes on to say that she's his goddess. Moon is a big inspiration for him, and he is definitely in love with her and sees her in such a high regard, you know? Honestly, go off, King. Like, this was amazing. And here's where we go into the crazy bits. So this is Lin Ling's boss, and turns out he basically lost his job because his contract was terminated. The reason he's here right now is because he was the sole person who made those commercials for Nice, and now he was basically kicked to the curb. And I think that's very cool. I love how we're seeing the different sides of this and we're getting more of the world. I'm not gonna sit here and say that the boss man was already stressed, that's why he was hard on Lin Ling and fired him, but I like how he plays a part in the story. And he simply wasn't just cast aside after, you know, Lin Ling got fired. It shows off just how awful this business is. It's cool. I like it. And this is when we learn about fear. While trust can give someone powers based on the people, fear is the opposing force to that, the opposite. This whole fight scene is phenomenal, and I love the showcase of fear. Even how Nice was sort of getting stronger because this fight was being streamed and the fans are watching his style. Ooh, and the shifted art style, woo! It's amazing. So much sauce, dude. This is honestly hype. It's amazing, dude. So I want to mention the ending of the episode, because I'm honestly confused. So Lin Ling went back to his house, and Moon had already settled in and fallen asleep. But spoiler alert, she's dead. I think not really. The entire top part of her face is bleeding. And I'm not sure I'm able to show this because I don't want to get demonetized. And in episode 2, she's just perfectly fine. I don't know if this was like a vision of like what's gonna happen later, or a dream, or what, I don't know. I will say though, I was honestly super disappointed because I was really hoping she was actually dead, because how crazy would it be that not only did Nice die, but his girlfriend was also found dead? Now that's a mystery right there. So yeah, Moon knows immediately that he isn't Nice. This isn't explained, there's no build up to this, she just says that she knew and they move on. And she seems more annoyed that Nice is no longer alive, as she immediately calls Miss J and asks her why she's still bound to this role. And it's a sad reality that it doesn't really matter what she wants, because Nice is now a brand. It belongs to the company with everything involved with him, and that brand wants Nice to marry Moon, because that's what the fans want and it'll make them more popular. I love how this girl is so fed up and just destroying everything, yet our guy is still like, yeah, tap that. It's so great to see them have fun and talk a little. It seems that him being there is already causing her to lower her guard. I truly wonder what the real Nice was like. Was he cold-hearted? Did he pay any attention to her? Or was this all just a contract and nothing more? It feels like Moon is extremely lonely and needs someone to help her. As I mentioned before, Moon's portal power only opens portals to Nice's location, because that's how the fans see her, and that's what the fans want from her. It's really sad, and I can't imagine how caged she feels. It goes to show that these moments where she's smiling and laughing hanging out with Linling actually means a lot to her. About a month passes, and the entire time they've been stuck in this house because the company is like, they'll fall in love eventually. And I swear, that's gotta be a violation of rights, right? Like, they can't just do that. Man, they are cute together though. This is the part I was complaining about in the beginning. I personally want more of this. I want to see more of Linling's character, and I love seeing the real Moon and them just bonding. They really do get along, and it would have been great just to see more of that. But nope, it cuts to the wedding ceremony. Long story short, Linling has the idea of faking Moon's death, so they call Nice's nemesis to accomplish this goal. But this guy, his name is Rek by the way, he has his own story, and it might just be as sad as Moon's. He was shown in the very beginning of this episode, just kind of laying there and drinking as the live stream of Nice and Moon was in the background. This was originally set up as Rek wanting Moon for himself, or Nice, or maybe he swings both ways, who knows. So during this entire battle, Rek has been trying to talk to Nice, asking things like, why haven't you been answering my calls? And why don't you reply to my messages or emails? And immediately after such a short exchange, he can tell that he isn't Nice. So who is this guy? Well, he's actually Nice's best friend, his partner. They both shared a dream to be heroes. They were both supposed to be a duo, a team, but when they received their scripts, they turned him into his nemesis. And at the time, he was happy just being involved in his life and helping out, but a rift started to form and he wasn't able to spend time with him at all. The more popular Nice got, the more he was cast aside by both Nice and the company. And having probably one of the best fights I've ever seen, he falls, realizing that his dream to be a hero was shattered a long time ago, and it's only now that he finally understood everything. But thankfully in the end, he was able to help out and free Moon, and thanks to Linling's speech at the end, he was able to persuade the audience to wish for Moon's freedom. A simple wish was able to completely fix her powers. Now Moon is able to use her portals to go anywhere she wants. And it's at this moment that Moon asks, what is it that your heart desires? The TV in the background plays, telling all of us that Nice's popularity is only getting higher. And with that, Moon takes her cue and leaves. I'm not sure what ends up happening to Rek. I can only assume he fell to his death. Yeah, that rhymes. But maybe we can find out in later episodes, who knows? Then this guy shows up. Hey, remember him from the last episode? Yeah, he figures out that Linling is Nice just because he's like, wait a minute, they look the same. And it's such a good thing I just so happen to have this article next to me so I can overlay their faces. I hate this so much. So, I don't like how everyone is able to figure out the truth so easily and so fast, especially when it's done like this. Like, are you seriously telling me that just because Nice's heart rate was faster than normal means that you grab this random guy and see if they look the same? I'm not buying it. But it's because she got nervous looking at the boss, so that's why they're connected. Why would you think that the dead guy would be playing Nice? You have no reason to believe that Nice is dead or have any reasonable suspicion on why this random dude would be taking this role. You should also realize that this boss dude was saying a lot about how he was screwed over and how he was the one always making your commercials and the ads. So yeah, of course Nice would be like, ah shit, I didn't know this was the guy. You know, he probably felt guilty. Or dude, maybe, just hear me out, maybe they do know each other and they hate each other's guts. Why do you immediately assume, oh, this guy must be Nice, he's dead, because that's the only connection I can— Really? Really? Yes, I know that this guy is obsessed with trying to expose Nice. That's literally his whole career, to be a hater. But you seriously cannot sit here and tell me that this was the best and only way you could have came up with this solution. See, how you should have done this scene is have him analyze the interview and be like, huh, it's kind of strange that Nice is acting a bit different than usual, and then have him go through all the recent appearances and start connecting the dots and comparing, and then he can go through and compare that maybe this isn't the real Nice. And there you go, that's how you start connecting puzzle pieces. And here's another thing. In the world of cameras and live streams, you're telling me that absolutely no one was recording Nice walking off the roof and dying? Heck, no one even witnessed it? No one saw this happen. Nobody knows what they did with the body. Is Nice even dead in the first place? I refuse to believe that there isn't some sort of conspiracy group about Nice or even how this guy jumped. Also, out of all the photos and references, there's no way their faces would ever line up like that. Cameras are a bit weird, especially with the way that it likes to widen faces to make them longer depending on the lenses. So yeah, this would never happen. Especially since Linling's Linling's face has changed a bit and started to look more like Nice thanks to the trust power thing. And yeah, sure, he already kind of looked like him to begin with, but my point stands! This is dumb. I hate it. I wish this was better. This sucks. Episode 3 is definitely my favorite, and it was so badly needed after feeling like we rushed episode 1 and 2. This one is a bit more laid back, and this time, its main focus is on another hero, Firm-Man. Basically, the goal is if Nice can defeat Firm-Man's nemesis, then he can reach into the top 10, because for some reason, this Wolf Girl person is very important, I don't know. Apparently, that's how it worked out for Firm-Man. He defeated somebody, and he rose to the top 10, so it seems legit. Firm-Man's story is actually pretty cool. He was a firefighter who saved a girl from a collapsing building. He held the rubble for her so she wouldn't get crushed, and everyone praised him and believed in him to be a real hero. And management immediately tried recruiting him, and he became the indomitable hero. Someone who always stands firm and strong. Though the downfall of this is that now everyone believes him to stand firm at all times. That means he can't ever bend over. Man, that fucking sucks. My man can't get pegged anymore. This has gotta be one of the worst powers ever. I mean, it's cool, but like, the cost of not being able to walk or bend over or bend your knees, like, seriously, how do you even function anymore? At that point, he really is just a statue. And it's so funny that the main reason why Firm-Man can't even take the fight to Wolf Girl is because she lives in the sewers and he just can't crawl. Man, I just feel so bad for him. So Wolf Girl's plan is to basically blow up the Hero Avenue and let Firm-Man's statue fall. She hates heroes and wants a symbol that represents them to fall, and for some reason, even when Wolf Girl has a hostage, Firm-Man won't let go of the statue. He stays standing firm and tall. I'm not sure if it's because of his curse or because he genuinely doesn't want to. What I am sure of is that this Wolf Girl is actually trying to help him give up, because Nice drops in after investigating her lair and we find out something that's pretty shocking. The girl that Firm-Man saved all those years ago is actually Wolf Girl. The reason she became a villain in the first place is because she was getting bullied. I know, crazy story, huh? Nobody believed her that she was once saved by Firm-Man, and when she tries to tell everyone the real story of him, not the one that was fabricated by the media, everyone just dismisses it and picks on her. They think that calling Firm-Man a gentle soul is the same as calling him weak and tarnishing his name. She wanted to take down this bullshit hero persona and free him, take him away from this responsibility and from this curse, to save him like he saved her before. And finally, he's able to kneel. He's able to be vulnerable. Sadly, this isn't the time because now he can't lift this heavy statue. Even when Nice tries to help out, it isn't enough. Thankfully, by live streaming this event, the people are able to believe in him so he can become strong. And now that I sit here watching the scene again, it all makes sense. Firm-Man couldn't throw the statue to the side because that statue represents him and the hero society. Firm-Man will never fall. That's his character, to always stand tall. And if that statue fell, he would have lost his power and the public would possibly lose their trust in heroes. But now that Nice lifted the statue, that represents him taking the weight from Firm-Man and enduring it himself. Now he holds all of the heroes on his back. Now he's the one being able to stand tall and be the symbol. I have no words. This episode is just phenomenal. It isn't as action-paced as the last two. It isn't as heavy on the mystery. Seriously, what happened to that? It's just a story about how this world affects its people and further establishes how the power system works and why being a hero may not be everything that's cracked up to be. And I like that this happens immediately after the scene with Moon. I'm sure those words she originally asked are still weighing heavy on Linling's heart. He actually starts to recognize that his curse, trying to be perfect, has caused his OCD and perfectionism to worsen his anxiety. Firm-Man can't help but laugh a little and further say, different times, different heroes. No doubt you're moving in this floor because you've thought it over and made your decision. That's when Linling tries to tell him that he isn't nice, but Firm-Man walks away, not giving a care in the world, just simply responding, no matter who you are, just be yourself. So do they ever actually do any hero work, or is everything fabricated by the company? Because every single time they need to act like heroes, it's because the company wants them to be at the top of the rankings. So yeah, this guy comes back, he has Moon, he's ready to expose everything. Hype, let's go! I'm so curious on how this is going to affect Linling's personality. We're already seeing the cracks and just how crazy this life can be for him, so I really hope we can really focus on his mental state and how all these interactions are changing him, especially after this cliffhanger. Gosh, I'm so excited!